You are now tuned into On the Pitch with the GOAT, TJ Raff.
Welcome, guys. First time doing this live episode. Glad to have everybody here. Everybody that's been following the podcast. Appreciate the support, guys. What a great Thursday night football game. If you guys were watching that one, I knew there was going to be points. I don't only do soccer, the football. We do the American football as well. We were on the over in the game, straight up over 52 points, 53 before kickoff. We were on the teaser. We had the Lions +4. We had over 45, guys, both winners. Before this game even started, I looked at a couple of things in the NFL. Before this game, I was like looking at the previous game between these two teams, very low scoring, a lot less points than the line today. And that was because there's a little bit of bad weather in Green Bay. So I understand why the line was low there, but neither one of these two teams had played in a game of over 50 points in the last 5 games for each team. There was one game that the Lions did have a game over 50 points, and that was versus Jacksonville, where they blew them out. They blew them out, and it went over 50. So everything tended to point toward the under. You know, everyone thought the line was pretty high, and so I think a lot of people did go under. Some people did stick with the over. I stuck with the over. I knew there was no chance. I wasn't going to tease under. I normally am a big tease guy, and I usually then tend to tease under on situations like this, but not tonight, guys. Big winner, big win. Lions are strong. They're going to be one of the teams to beat, guys. And today they showed it. Some decisions there. The coach loves to go for it on 4th down, big balls. But one of these days, that's going to burn him, man. And we have seen him. We have seen it burn him in the past. So it didn't happen tonight. It was close. He did make one bad 4th down decision, but it didn't cost them the game. They got the win. So let's get right into what everybody's here for, and that's the soccer action that's coming up this weekend, starting with Saturday, December 7th. Gonna break it down for you. We have a big game in Los Angeles, MLS soccer competition. Los Angeles Galaxy taking on the New York Red Bulls, guys. Los Angeles Galaxy has been playing very well. Seems like this is their time to shine. New York Red Bulls, big underdogs in most of their matchups, leading through the playoffs. Coming to LA, guys. Primetime LA game at home. LA Galaxy, New York Red Bulls. The LA Galaxy are -119 favorites. They got here by beating the Seattle Sounders 1-0 in a late game. Prior to that, the Los Angeles Galaxy destroyed the Minnesota United team 6-2. 6-2. I knew the game with the Seattle Sounders was going to be a tough game. We did have LA Galaxy money line as a VIP pick. They won 1-0. Sounders are just pesky in the defense. They hang in there. They defend very well, and they don't like to attack too much. I know it's going to be a cagey match. LA Galaxy won that. Let me tell you about the New York Red Bulls. I want to stick on this game for a little bit just because it's going to be a big matchup. MLS, we've been betting that quite a bit this year. New York Red Bulls also coming off a 1-0 win over Orlando City in the game that led up to this championship game. Prior to that, they took down the other New York team, New York FC, 2-0. And in the quarterfinals, the best out of 3 series, they took down the defending champions, Columbus Crew, guys. Not a lot of people saw that one coming. They did take down the Columbus Crew in the best out of 3. Now they're in line to battle for the title versus the powerful LA Galaxy, guys. Let's look at some previous games between these two. The last time they faced off against each other in an actual game, there's like 3 friendlies that they played against each other. I'm not going to look at those. Those don't mean anything. The last match where these two teams faced off against each other was in 2021, 3 years ago. So that really has no relevance. LA Galaxy won 3-2. Because it is a final, it is, down to the wire. Both have battled to be there. They do go to extra time and they go to penalties. I believe here we're going to have a boat to score, guys. Boat to score between LA Galaxy and New York Red Bulls. And my sprinkle is going to be LA Galaxy to lift the cup. I think LA Galaxy, it's their time. They haven't won in quite a bit. LAFC, has won it recently. They're rivals. But I think that the LA Galaxy are going to lift the cup. But I do see a boat to score as my main bet there for the MLS championship game in Carson, California. Give me the boat to score and sprinkle LA Galaxy to lift the cup. Moving on, Saturday for the Premier League. Premier League Saturday. We had some midweek games in the Premier League that happened this week. So these teams are going to be a little bit tired. They're going to be traveling and on short rest. We got Everton at home taking on Liverpool. Liverpool's a minus 217 favorite. Liverpool coming off a 3-3 draw with Newcastle, guys. I kind of saw this one coming. People were asking me, hey, why is Liverpool minus 120, minus 130? Is that free money or is it a trap? Liverpool is the number 1 team, guys. Number 1 team in the England Premier League. They're first place with 35 points. The team closest to them is Chelsea with 28 points. And we know about the defending champions, Manchester City, who are coming off a bad stretch. They're all the way down to 4th place. Liverpool, as the defending champions, were playing Newcastle, and their line was minus 130. By game time, it went down to minus 115. When you see that type of line for the number 1 team playing the number 12 team, Newcastle, it's either low-hanging fruit or a big trap. I said it was going to be a trap, and guess what? Liverpool tied 3-3. They were losing. They were ahead, and then they basically ended up drawing in the last minute. Newcastle with the late goal, 90th minute to not let them get the full 3 points. Liverpool did get a win. Did get a point, 1 point for the draw. Newcastle gets 1 point as well. Anyways, back to Everton. Everton had not scored in 4 games. So luckily they faced in this last game the Wolverhampton Wolves, who are the worst defensive team in the England Premier League. Everton won 4-0. I did not expect Wolves to not get any goals. Everton does have a good defense. Everton does play well versus good teams. Liverpool coming off a bad draw, that they should have won. I think Liverpool's going to be hungry. I don't see a lot of goals here just because it's going to be Everton. Everton's house. They play very good defense. Liverpool should win this game. They are minus 217, so we're just going to leave it as a parlay piece, guys. Not much to say there. Liverpool, first place team, as a money line piece, minus 217. I just don't see too many goals happening here because of the way Everton plays, the short rest, and everything else that comes into play here. Moving on to the second game of the England Premier League for Saturday, December 7th. Aston Villa at home taking on Southampton. Aston Villa is a minus 286 favorite, almost minus 300, taking on Southampton plus 594. Current standings for these two teams, Aston Villa is in 8th place, and Southampton is our bottom of the barrel team, guys. 20th place, 11 goals scored in 14 games, 30 goals conceded. Previous matchups here, Aston Villa, big win over Brentford, 3-1. Our Southampton bottom dwellers, most recent game this week, middle of the week, got destroyed by Chelsea, 5-1 at home, guys. We were on the over in that one for a parlay, over first half, 0.5. We parlayed that with another game earlier today, the VIP play. Oh, it was the Man City game. Man City over 0.5, over 0.5 in the Chelsea game. That was an easy winner, free money. Aston Villa, guys, minus 286. We got to go with Aston Villa. Southampton, does get a goal here and there. I do like the over goals here as well. Aston Villa, minus 286, another parlay piece. But we could also take Aston Villa as a minus 1.5 goal spread team here. They are playing better. They're at home, and they're going up against a weak Southampton team that just hasn't showed enough to get a victory over a team like Aston Villa. Plus, the line is right, minus 286. Money line piece, minus 1.5. Give me over 2.5 goals in this game. Moving on to Brentford versus Newcastle. We just mentioned Newcastle off the big draw over the number one team, Liverpool. They did give up 3 goals and scored 3 goals. Brentford at home is a plus 188. We already mentioned this before. Brentford coming off a loss to Aston Villa 3-1. Newcastle 3-3. Newcastle did give up 3 goals. They are away, short rest. Newcastle is the favorite, plus 130. We're going to keep it simple here. Whenever we see a plus 188, plus 130 for the money lines, we go both to score, guys. Both to score. Brentford versus Newcastle, BTTS. Both to score, one of my favorite plays that I like to bet, especially in these soccer games. We have 2 even matched teams. Give me both to score. Next game, Crystal Palace at home taking on Manchester City, who had lost a bunch of games in a row. I don't see Manchester City losing another one after, the bad streak that they had. Manchester City will destroy Crystal Palace. Their money line right now, Manchester City's money line is minus 179. Manchester City coming off the big win today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. 3-0 over Nottingham Forest. They were minus 333 favorite. Manchester City will beat Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is currently in the 17 slot. They are battling, to stay out of the relegation levels. They're just ahead of Ipswich there. They don't want to get to 18, 19, 20, so they are going to play hard, but they just don't have what it takes to beat a Man City team who's coming off a lot of bad beats. They can't afford another loss, especially how they've been going. They're playing with all the right players right now. Everybody was in. Crystal Palace did get a win over Ipswich 1-0. Prior to that was a 1-1 draw with Newcastle and another draw versus Aston Villa. So they have been playing tough against decent teams. So I'm not going to go with a lot of goals in this one just because Manchester City's coming on the road. Manchester City money line, it is kind of high, minus 175. So you may want to use that as a parlay piece as well. I may change my mind later if I see the lineup and I like it. I may do the over 2.5 goals here just because I think Manchester City is on a turnaround here. They've lost a lot of games they shouldn't be losing, but I think they may be just saying, hey, we are the Manchester City of before. We scored a bunch of goals in our previous game. We're going to score a bunch of goals now against a weaker team. So I may change my mind. So stay tuned for that. If you're my VIP, you will get that info.
I was just going to say, Raph, I think the best thing we can do here is if you're watching right now and you want to catch situations like that where he might change on his bets, you got to get in the VIP. You get in the VIP. It pays for itself. I'm telling you, I've been doing this with him for about 6 months. And monthly, it pays for itself in one bet. It's ridiculous. Just get on it. Be smart. Do not gamble blind. If you don't know soccer, follow this man.
And you're right about that. I mean, just being in the VIP, it's not just I'm glad you brought that up. My VIP Telegram, where I give my VIP picks, I have 2 separate channels. One is a VIP Telegram where it only has the picks. I'm the only one that can post things in there. That's the official VIP Telegram with the official VIP picks. But on top of that, you get access to a VIP chat, a VIP exclusive chat where all my VIP members are allowed to talk among themselves, talk about plays, ask me what's going on, if I like a certain game. I mean, it's back and forth nonstop. I mean, there's times when I don't check the messages on that Telegram, the VIP exclusive chat, And there's like 800, 1,000 messages after like 30 minutes to an hour. So we're talking about every member's in there giving away information. I woke up last night to take a leak at like 3:30 in the morning. And guess what? I jumped on to see which games were popping up. And guess what? I found a game that was going to start in about 15, 20 minutes. I looked at the stats. I looked at the numbers. I loved it. I sent out an over, I think it was an over 3.5. It was a Asia Cup game, teams from all over the place. We're talking about I don't even know where, can't remember right now where the team's from. Final score, 5-2, live VIP chat banger at 4 a.m., guys. So whoever was up, it was 7 a.m. on the East Coast. So there was a lot of people up, and they were able to catch that. That's just some of the things you get when you are in the VIP. It's a community of other bettors in there. I mean, some of these guys have been in there with me for 5 years, 6 years. So become part of the family. It's cheap. Under $50 a month gets you in. I'm doing some specials right now for the rest of the year. So hit me up and ask what those specials are. I mean, you could get in for a lot less than $150 right now if you catch me at the right time. Moving on to the last game of the England Premier League, Manchester United, Nottingham Forest at Manchester United. Manchester United minus 167 favorite. Manchester United coming off a tough loss to Arsenal 2-0. That was kind of expected, you know. Arsenal, very powerful team right now. They're doing well. Arsenal is in the third slot right behind Chelsea. I'm really happy to see Chelsea up there right now. But Manchester United, bipolar team, up and down. They're in the 13th spot. But I think Manchester City at home will bounce back with the win. Give me Manchester United money line 165 to defeat Nottingham Forest. That'll do it for England Premier League for Saturday. Looking at the next league here on the schedule, France League. No games there that I really want to look at, guys. Skipping that for now. Moves us to our La Liga Spain. We'll go there first. La Liga Spain. We've been cashing big with Barcelona. Barcelona taking on Real Betis. The thing with Barcelona is two games ago, there was a trap game. Barcelona is in first place, I think, still in the La Liga. Let me just double check because Real Madrid did have a game today, and Barcelona did lose one of the last two games. Yep, Barcelona's still in first place, 37 points, 48 goals scored, 17 goals conceded after 16 matches. Real Madrid right behind them, 31 goals scored, 13 goals conceded with 33 points. If you remember, Real Madrid has been dominating La Liga, was the champions last year. They haven't been doing too well this year. I mean, they're not doing bad. They're not doing awful, but they're not doing great in the Champions League. Barcelona, I think this is their time to shine. They did lose, though, a couple matches ago to Las Palmas. Nobody saw that coming. We had Barcelona team total over 1.5. I could not believe what I was watching. The final score in that game was Las Palmas 2, Barcelona 1. And let me remind you, Barcelona was a minus 700 favorite. Las Palmas was a plus 1393. Imagine that. Imagine putting $50 on that, $100 on that. Nobody saw that one coming. But what does a team like Barcelona do after a letdown like that? They bounced right back. We got our money back. We had the over. We had the team total. We bet some live bets. Barcelona destroyed Mallorca 5-1 in the next game. So that brings us to Barcelona at Real Betis. Real Betis' previous game was in the Copa del Rey. They won 3-1. That's a tournament that's played between Spanish teams, Division 1 versus Division 2, 3 and 4. Real Betis won 3-1. Prior to that, they lost 2-0 Real Sociedad. And in a Liga game prior to that, they lost 4-2. So you know where I'm going with this one, guys. Barcelona money line is 169. I love them money line. I love Real Betis to get a goal because it seems like everybody's scoring on Barcelona right now. They may get one, but Barcelona turns it up and gets 3, 4, or 5. Give me Barcelona money line. Give me the over 2.5, probably comma 3 on this one. And I may do another Barcelona team total. So we love Barcelona in La Liga. They can't get draws. They can't get any losses, or else Real Madrid's going to be knocking on the door. Speaking of Real Madrid, they're also playing on Saturday, and their line is actually a good line. This looks a little trappy because it is minus 139 versus Girona. Girona is in 8th place. They're not bottom of the barrel, so I guess I could see why the line is where it's at. But Girona is coming off a Copa del Rey game where they tied 0-0 versus a lower division team, but they usually don't play with their starters. So that's what you get with games like that. You get subs playing versus subs, first division versus second division, third division. It's hard to pick those games. Prior to that, their last La Liga game was a 2-2 draw versus Villarreal. And prior to that, they had a 4-1 win versus Espanyol, guys. So this takes me to that matchup versus Real Madrid. Girona, Real Madrid minus 139 favorite. I do side on the edge of Real Madrid money line, but I do love the goals here as well. Give me goals in Real Madrid plus Girona, Real Madrid money line, and Barcelona money line, and goals in that game as well. We got to go with the big dogs. They are playing well. They're fighting neck and neck. They don't want to, create too much space between them. I mean, Barcelona does, and Real Madrid wants to stay right with them. So I think they're both going to win. That'll do it for La Liga Spain for Saturday. Takes us to our favorite league, the Bundesliga, Saturday action. Bayer Leverkusen is the first game at home versus St. Pauli. Big money line here, guys. Minus 455. Parlay piece. I mean, I hate the number though. Minus 455. You literally got to get 3 minus 455s to create any type of good line. Bayer Leverkusen is in 3rd place. 28 goals scored, 19 goals conceded, 23 points. St. Pauli all the way down to the 15th spot. 15th spot, guys. They're trying to battle out of relegation. They don't want to be in those final 3 spots. St. Pauli coming off a win over Holstein Kiel, 3-1, but they did lose to Borussia Mönchengladbach 2-0 prior to that game. Bayer Leverkusen is coming off a 1-0 win over Bayern Munich in the DFB Pokal. That's the German tournament, guys. Bayern Munich got an early red card in that game. It ended up being a 1-0 win for Bayer Leverkusen, who was a plus 549. Prior to that, they did take down Union Berlin with a great defense, 2-1. Prior to that, 5-0 win over Red Bull Salzburg in the Champions League, guys. This one's an easy one. Bayer Leverkusen, goal spread. Bayer Leverkusen, money line. Nothing hard there. Second game of the Bundesliga in Germany, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Augsburg, guys. Eintracht Frankfurt is currently in the 2nd slot, guys. 2nd place behind Bayern Munich. Eintracht Frankfurt playing very well right now. Taking on Augsburg, who's in the 13th slot, 13th place. Previous games, Eintracht did go down to Leipzig 3-0 in the DFB Pokal tournament. Prior to that, they won 4-0 versus Heidenheim. Augsburg also participated in the tournament in the DFB Pokal, tying 2-2 to Karlsruhe. Prior to that was a 1-0 win over Bochum. I got to go with my guys. I got to go with Eintracht Frankfurt. Money line here. Possibly a team total for Eintracht Frankfurt. Let me see if I have a goal prop for you here. Okay, so let me tell you something about Eintracht Frankfurt. They got a guy by the name of Marmoush, Omar Marmoush. I mean, he's been scoring at will. That's why I wanted to talk about the goal prop. Marmoush is scoring in almost every game. He's got 13 goals, guys. If you look at his current stats, let me see here. He had two goals in the last Bundesliga game. He had 1 goal prior to that. He scored 13 goals, guys. 13 goals, and they've played. Give you just an idea. Okay, they played 12 games. He has 13 goals. So what does that tell you? Omar Marmoush is worth a sprinkle to score a goal. Bet it every game. You're gonna hit more than you don't. So keep that in mind. Omar Marmoush, Eintracht Frankfurt is going to be the pick for that game versus Augsburg. It is a heavier juice line, but I may like the team total for Eintracht Frankfurt as well. Next game, Bayern Munich, Heidenheim, guys. Bayern Munich is minus 1,000. Bayern Munich coming off the loss in the tournament, the DFB Pokal tournament. Big, heavy favorite versus Heidenheim here. When situations like this, especially after a loss, I like to take the over 1.5 goals first half. Bayern Munich should get 2 goals at home quick versus these guys, especially after the situation they had with the red card and the loss. They weren't playing with all their starters in that tournament game, but it doesn't matter. They didn't play well. They're going to want to bounce back. Give me Bayern Munich game over 1.5. Who knows? Heidenheim might get a goal too. And Bayern Munich may have to score one just to tie it and get back into it. So give me the first half over 1.5 in the Bayern Munich game. The money line's too big to get them straight up money line. The over-under is going to be 3.5. It's going to be high. So in those situations, I like to take the over 1.5 goals in the first half. Moving on to the next game, VfL Bochum taking on Werder Bremen. Werder Bremen plus 118. Bochum plus 238. Current standings between these two teams. Werder Bremen is in 12th place. Bochum all the way down to the bottom. Last place team. Bochum coming off a 1-0 defeat to Augsburg and another 2-0 defeat to Stuttgart. Werder Bremen 1-0 in the Pokal. Werder Bremen 2-2 versus Stuttgart 1-0. This is a tricky one, my friends. Werder Bremen, Bochum. I'm going to go with the boat to score here, guys. Boat to score just because Bochum is in last place. They're fighting relegation. They need to get points any which way they can. They can't afford a shutout. They can't afford another loss. So give me both to score in Bochum versus Werder Bremen. Next game, Holstein Kiel versus RB Leipzig. Guys, this is an easy one. RB Leipzig, even though they're away, minus 164 on the money line. Give me RB Leipzig. Final game of Bundesliga for Saturdays, Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Dortmund. Dortmund is only a plus 110 favorite, not a really heavy money line favorite. Dortmund is in 5th place after 12 games, 23 goals scored. Let me get some water. Sorry about that, guys. When you're talking a lot, mouth gets dry. Anyways, Dortmund, guys, coming off a 1-1 tie with Bayern Munich in their last game. That one was slated to be a high-scoring game, trapped everybody. Sometimes that happens when the top teams play each other. You get a cagey match, low scoring event, and that's what happened in their last Bundesliga game. Prior to that, they had a 4-0 win over Freiburg. Borussia Mönchengladbach, give you an idea. They're coming off a 3-1 loss to Freiburg. Prior to that, they did beat St. Pauli, a weak team, 2-0. This money line, though, is trappy. I mean, Dortmund should be the favorite by a higher number. I'm going to go with goals in this one, guys. I'm going to keep it simple. Dortmund usually is involved in games with goals. Borussia Mönchengladbach can score goals and concede goals as well. Gladbach in 12 games has 18 goals scored, 17 goals conceded. Dortmund, 23 goals scored, 19 goals conceded. So let's go with the over goals for this game. Borussia Mönchengladbach and Dortmund. Give me the goals. I mean, the slight edge is for Dortmund to get the win here. That'll do it for Saturday's soccer action, guys, in the different European leagues. We're going to move straight into Sunday. Sunday's soccer action starts off with what league? Premier League. Premier League. Fulham at home versus Arsenal. Just reminded you guys again, these guys did have games in the middle of the week. All these teams in the England Premier League are on short rest. Current standings for Fulham and Arsenal. Arsenal is in third place. Fulham is not too far away. Sixth place. Arsenal 28 points. Fulham 22 points. The last time these two teams faced off against each other was December 31 of last year. Fulham won 2-1. Prior to that, 2-2. So Arsenal has not beaten Fulham in the last two games. Arsenal may be coming for revenge. Arsenal did have a 2-0 victory in their recent game. Fulham had a 3-1 victory. Prior to that, Arsenal had a 5-2 victory over West Ham, guys. Give me Arsenal money line here. Give me goals. I like goals just because Fulham's at home. They should get one in. Arsenal does give up goals and can score a lot of goals. So that's what we're going to do for that game. Fulham at home versus the Arsenal powerhouse team. And we're going to have some goals there as well. All right. Looking for the next game here. Sorry, the app's acting up a little bit. There we go. Next game, Ipswich at home, taking on Bournemouth. Ipswich, as we have mentioned before, they're at the bottom of the barrel. Bournemouth coming off a big win over Tottenham. Tottenham did not show up. Tottenham just, this was today. Tottenham didn't make it to the field. They lost 1-0 to Bournemouth. Bournemouth should have actually won that game like 4 or 5-0. The goalie for Tottenham made a lot of big saves. They actually took away 3 goals. Bournemouth hit the post. I mean, this line looks a little shady, but I can't pick Ipswich on this one. I got to go Bournemouth money line, -101. Take it to the bank. Next game, Leicester versus Brighton. Leicester here is coming off a 3-1 big win over West Ham. Brighton, in the most recent game, coming off a 1-3 loss to Fulham. what we've seen with both of these teams is goals. Brighton is in 5th place after 14 games, 23 games, 23 goals scored, 20 goals conceded. Leicester 16th place, 19 goals scored, 28 goals conceded. I got to go with over 2.5 goals, over 3 goals, whatever it is. We're going to have some goals, both to score. Leicester versus Brighton. Tottenham, Chelsea, guys. Tottenham has not been showing up. Chelsea's been dominating. Tottenham scored 0 goals in their previous game. They're at home now, coming up, taking on powerful Chelsea. I got to go with Chelsea. They're plus 110. Got to go with Chelsea. I don't care about the line. It does look a little trappy, but I do see goals here, and I see Chelsea running over Tottenham. Chelsea's been running over a lot of teams. I just don't think Tottenham is in the right rhythm right now. They're not playing well. Give me Chelsea to finish off the Premier League for Sunday, December 8th. Taking us to the Bundesliga for Sunday, December 8th. We just have 2 games, Wolfsburg versus Mainz. Current standings for Wolfsburg, 8th place, Mainz, 7th place, right next to each other, guys. After 12 games, Mainz is 20 goals scored, 14 goals conceded. Wolfsburg, 25 goals scored, 19 goals conceded. Their previous games, Wolfsburg 3-0 win over Hoffenheim in the DFB Pokal tournament. Prior to that was a 5-1 smacking of Leipzig. Wolfsburg dominating that game. Mainz coming off a 2-0 win over Hoffenheim, 3-0 win over Holstein Kiel, and a 3-1 win over Dortmund, guys. Mainz is playing very well. Wolfsburg is playing very well as well. Wolfsburg is a plus 108 favorite. Wouldn't put it past Mainz to get a victory here, guys. And because of all that being said, goals. I love goals in this early Sunday game. 6:30 Tijuana time. Wolfsburg, Mainz. I'll be up in the morning cheering on the goals because most likely will be a VIP play, guys. Wolfsburg, Mainz over goals, whatever the line is, over 2.5, over 3. Followed by Hoffenheim at home taking on Freiburg. Hoffenheim coming off that 3-0 loss to Wolfsburg. Freiburg coming off a loss to a lower division German team, Arminia, 3-1. Freiburg, prior to that, did get a win, 3-1 over Gladbach. This one's a little bit tricky. This one is a tricky one because we have a plus 171 and a plus 164, so you know where I'm going when I see numbers like that. Give me both to score, Hoffenheim and Freiburg, to round out the Bundesliga competition for Sunday. All right, guys. On Sunday, we also have the second leg of the Mexican semifinal. This is called the Young Classic. This is turned into a very popular matchup between Cruz Azul versus Club America. Guys, I got tricked tonight. The game just ended. It started off fast paced. There was a lot of shots. I took the over 1.5 live, and this is just one of those trap games. I even had some people ask me earlier, hey, what do you think about the Mexico game? What's the score going to be? And I said, you know what, it's going to be 0-0. This was me earlier in the day. I said, it's going to be 0-0, guys. It's going to be a trap game. I started watching the game. I even talked to my dad on the phone. He's like, man, I think there's going to be some goals. I know you said 0-0. So I kind of went with it. And you guess what? Final score was 0-0, guys. 0-0. I could tell after this first half that these guys were just going to draw and not do anything. I did a very big bet. I don't recommend doing this, but to get a little bit of the money that I bet on the game, I bet over $1,000 when there was about 10 to 12 minutes left that it was going to be under 0.5 goals, just because I knew what I was watching. They were passing it back. There was nobody running. I even mentioned in the VIP chat, I basically said, hey, I don't recommend doing this. Don't do this ever, but I may want to balance drop It's a minus 285 right now, under goals, but it might be worth it right now to do a balance drop. I didn't do a balance drop, but I did that $1,000 to win $350, but there was not going to be any more goals. I should have stuck with what I said earlier. It was 0-0. Sunday is going to be the second leg. In Mexican soccer, they play 2 games and they combine both scores. They call it the aggregate score. First game had a 0-0. This next game is going to be the do or die. If it stays 0-0, because it's a semifinal game, Cruz Azul moves on because they had the better record. That's how it works in the Liga MX. So America has to score. They have to do something. They're the defending back-to-back champions in Liga MX. This is a rival match. This game will not be 0-0. You can almost guarantee it. Somebody has to score. Cruz Azul will be okay with the 0-0, but they like to attack. They scored a lot of goals in the season. Today was like a game where they just both agreed to go 0-0 to kill the books. I mean, you could tell it was ugly. There was a couple shots. I'm thinking, too, if one shot would have gone in, they would have stayed 1-1 and still ended with the draw, because that's the type of stuff that happens in Mexican soccer. But that all being said, the line will be low for this game again. Today's line was minus over 2 was the soccer line. So I took over 1.5 live when the game started. I think I might do the same with this one for the final and hopefully get some money right this way. We're going to look to play it live. It's going to be a cagey match at first, but there has to be some goals. America can't afford to get a draw here. They got to go for the win. The winner of this game will move on to the final. Give me over 1.5 for the Sunday game between Cruz Azul and Club America. That moves us to La Liga. We already talked about La Liga for Saturday. One thing that I do want to mention is that I forgot to mention about Saturday. Saturday is going to be the final for the other semifinals. So let me touch on that real quick because I forgot about that game. Monterrey versus Atlético San Luis. They had one game too, semifinals, the first leg, and it was a 2-1 win for San Luis. They're headed back to Monterrey. Monterrey is down a goal in the aggregate. I think these guys are going to come out strong again. Monterrey's got to get a goal. I do like the over on this one as well. We saw the first leg going over, a lot more action than this Cruz Azul America game. So I think that we will have some action in this game, and we will get some over goals, over 2.5, guys. And it's going to be a battle. Both teams don't want to go home. They want to face the winner of Club America and Cruz Azul. And that'll do it for Sunday's soccer action, guys. Looks like we could head on right into the NFL. Let me get the right page up.
As you pull that up, man, did I have a week. I think I went 8 for 9 in TD props. Even tonight, I mean, I hit the Josh Jacobs in Montgomery, which is a no-brainer, but I mean, even parlaying them together, I've just been cashing it. I mean, the obvious guys are still scoring, but man, if you stick to like 5 or 6 touchdown scores every week and just invest a certain amount, it just works. Anyway.
Yeah, what were the lines on those anytime touchdown scores for tonight? Were they minus 200, minus 150?
I actually like to go a little bit live, so I wait into the first quarter, goes about halfway through, and see if there's any live movement on it. I got Jacobs at minus 150. I think I hit Montgomery at minus 160 pre. But yeah, I try to sort of see where they're going to go, like especially if they're starting to throw the ball. And like I'm on St. Brown, somebody who I've gone live with as well too, because they get to him late. So. But yeah, man, it's been a good solid run for TD props. But just wanted to sort of talk while you were looking at the NFL props there, or the NFL.
Yeah, no, that's a good intro to the NFL games. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. What I've also noticed too in these primetime games is that top receivers like St. Brown usually get shut down. I mean, he didn't hit his yard total at all. So
No, he was rough tonight. I had him try to get him over 50, and he was non-existent. But yeah, the running games always seem to work prime time, man.
Yeah, I don't even think he hit 50, right? He didn't even hit 50.
No,
were
he was the only
throwing.
flop of the night for me as far as any parlays or whatever, but everything else was Jacobs and Montgomery touchdowns and yeah, just nice and
Yeah,
simple.
they were throwing a lot more to Williams and a guy named Pat. Was it Patrick? I mean, guy that no one really even hears about. Had a lot of catches and yards for the Lions. So I did talk about this game in the beginning of the show. The game that we had tonight. I do very well with NFL teasers, as you have seen. This was an easy one for me. I went with my gut. The game before this one, the other primetime game on Monday, I double guessed my gut and I paid for it. I didn't get the win. And we're talking about the game with was it the Browns? What was Monday night? Browns. What was the Monday night game?
You just totally brain froze me there. It was the Browns and Philadelphia.
It was the game. It was the game that was like a college game. I also had a bunch
Browns
of
in Philadelphia.
What's that?
The Browns in Philadelphia, no?
Oh yeah.
I could be wrong. Just double check it first before you go on.
All right.
There you go in the chat. Browns and Broncos. I think Philadelphia played Sunday night. That's my bad.
Okay, yeah, Browns and Broncos. So before I went into like analyzing this game, and I just woke up and I saw some stats and I just said, okay, this one's easy. I'm gonna take the Broncos, because they were like -6, -6.5. I'm gonna take Broncos money line, and I'm gonna take the over because more people are gonna be on the under. And at the last second, I don't know why, I heard noise from a lot of other people. I never do that. I don't know why I did, and I went with the under, and it totally destroyed my teaser. I just one thing I want to teach you guys about your gut. When your gut tells you something and your plays, just cut out the rest of the noise and just go with your gut. And I did that today. I went with Lions +4. I went with the over 45. I even told everybody I even have chat messages with people where I said, dude, bet the over alt 58, bet the over 60. I even told you, I think I told somebody to bet over 60. I for sure told somebody to bet over 58 alt line because the line was at 51, 52, and it went up to 53 before kickoff. So just go with your gut. I knew it was going to be high scoring, and we did have a high scoring game. I hit the over 52 or 53. It didn't matter. I didn't buy any points. I just went straight over 53. Lions +4 and over 45 teaser. And I did hit one player prop, which was the Montgomery receiving yards. All right, let's look at Sunday's action. Sunday's action, NFL football, Atlanta Falcons taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Atlanta Falcons at Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings 10-2. Falcons 6-6. What do we have here? Falcons, I think they're coming off of 3 losses. Minnesota Vikings, on the other hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. Last 5, I only got the last 5 up. The line, though, 5.5, though. That's one of those lines that is always sketchy because you could buy it up to 7. Just because of that, I'm going to go with the dog +5.5 there in that one, just because everything's pointing in that direction. Give me the Falcons +5.5. Not going to buy any points. Just go with it. That's going to be the pick for that game. New Orleans Saints at New York Giants. I think the Giants are tanking. They're playing for the first pick. They're not doing anything. They got rid of their quarterback. They're 2-10. I think who else is 2-10? They're one of the other 2-10 teams. The Raiders are 2-10. New York Giants are 2-10. Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-10. Everybody wants that first pick. So I don't see the Giants making much effort in this game. The Saints are -4.5. They are coming off a loss here. The Saints did lose to the Rams 21-14. Taysom Hill, I think, got hurt. I don't know if he's going to be back. He's good in the red zone. Just because I know that the Giants are tanking. The Saints kind of, 4-8. I guess they could still sneak into the playoffs. So they have a little bit something more to play for. Even though with the injuries, I will take the Saints -4.5 in this game. Jacksonville Jaguars going to Tennessee Titans. Titans are -3. Titans are -3 favorites. Once again, 2-10 team versus 3-9 team in the same division game. Jacksonville Jaguars playing for the first pick, possibly tanking as well. A very bad team. The over/under is 40 points here. You know what? I'm gonna do a little teaser here, just to make it interesting. Just because both teams are bad, give me the Jacksonville Jaguars +10 and under 47. That's how I'm gonna tease that game. Jacksonville Jaguars +10, under 47. Speaking of teams who are tanking, Las Vegas Raiders, if you watch what happened to them, how close they were to winning a game versus a top team, but they really didn't want to win. Because if they would have had a win, it would have been a pointless win. They stayed really close versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if you remember this game. Final play of the game, they center snaps the ball. Quarterback isn't ready. Game over. Kansas City Chiefs win 19-7. The Raiders were close to being in field goal range. I just don't think they want to win. They don't care. They don't care about anything going on right now. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -6.5 in this one. If I were to tease this one, I would even tease the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down to money line and over 39 points. I do think the Raiders can put up some points. Buccaneers can score, give up some points as well. That's going to be the pick for Tampa Bay at home, -6.5. If you like teasers, go with the Tampa Bay money line and over 39 points.
And I'm going to take Bucky Irving touchdown, -120. Okay. I think he's going to run all over them. You may even want to play it safe and maybe just go with some yardage on him, but I think he's going to run all over them and score a touchdown.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. Why not take somebody like that playing against a team who's tanking, who doesn't really want to win? And when they get close to winning against a big team, they just fumble the ball away. So I like that. Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh. Current standings, Pittsburgh Steelers 9-3, Cleveland Browns 3-9. Cleveland Browns coming off that loss to the Broncos 41-32. Pittsburgh Steelers coming off that big win over the Bengals, high scoring game 44-38. These guys just faced each other a couple weeks ago, and the Steelers won 24-19. They didn't cover. I think I could see something similar to that happening again. But because both of these teams, the over-under is only 43 points. I wonder if the weather is going to be really bad in Pittsburgh. That could be one reason. But what we've seen, too, in games where the weather has been bad, we still see a lot of points. We've had a couple snow games where they still have gotten close to or gone over. So I may do a teaser here with the Pittsburgh Steelers money line and over 34 points, 33 or 34 points. But I do like the Steelers to cover here as well if we're just going to go straight bet.
And I got Nick Chubb +155 anytime TD. And you'll see me likely go with a lot of running back touchdowns. It's just something that I spam bet across the board with guys that score at a high clip.
Yeah, and he could either run it in or catch it and run it in, so that's a good pick. Carolina Panthers at Philadelphia Eagles. Big line here, -13 to the Philadelphia Eagles, guys. minus 13. What do? Do you take the spread? Do you take the team minus 13 or you take the team plus 13? That's an ugly number. Carolina Panthers have lost their last 2 games, but they didn't. I mean, the Chiefs, I hate to bring up the Chiefs, but the Chiefs only beat them 30-27, so the Chiefs didn't cover versus them. The Eagles have won the last 5. They did beat the Rams 37-20, beat them by 17 points. They beat the Cowboys by a bunch. They beat the Ravens by a little bit. That was 24-19. Do they really need to cover 13 points is the question. I don't think they do. They definitely can. But give me the Carolina Panthers plus 13. I just got it when the number is that big. And I'm going to hate myself when I see the Philadelphia Eagles up by 30, but just got to take that chance.
And Dolphins, I know I keep coming in at the end just quickly. Saquon Barkley, I mean, you can go and try to parlay him up his touchdowns, and if the other thing doesn't work, then you may have a Saquon Barkley leg of your parlay that hits and then the other thing misses. So my suggestion is hit it live. If he gets in early and you don't get it, you don't get it. But hit it live, let the line drop a bit, and then smash it because this guy's going to be scoring another touchdown this week.
And dude, this guy's a beast, man. He's just running all over everybody. He's just nonstop. He's making he's trying to make a point this year, right? He's trying to make a point. He's telling him to let him in. He's dominating. I think he was the one that I think he's the one that I saw in a reel or a story where he was given the opportunity to stay in the game and hit his like career total or something like that. He told the coach, "Now let the young guys eat." He kind of took a side. So he's playing. I mean, he's dominating. He's doing well. I think it was him though that said, "Hey, no, let the other guys eat." Coach said, "Hey, I could leave you in. I don't want to risk your injury, but you could hit your career total if you stay in." He said, "Now let the young guys eat." I think it was him, Saquon Barkley, but he's on a mission. He's doing well. So you gotta keep betting him until he starts missing. That's one guy you got to stay on. Just like Marmouche in soccer on Eintracht Frankfurt. If he's scored 13 goals in 12 games, why not bet him every game until he stops scoring? Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, minus 5.5 for the Dolphins. The Jets are a shit show right now, guys. Miami Dolphins aren't that much better. Tua is back, but this is a tricky one. It's a hard one. Dolphins are 5-7. I guess somehow they could sneak back into the playoffs. New York Jets are 3-9. They're in the same division. Jets 4 out of the last 5 they've lost. The Dolphins have won 3 out of the last 5. I got to go with the Dolphins minus 5.5. Any props for you there?
Nothing on this game. Nothing that really jumps out to me. Mostart's finally getting going a little bit, but I mean, for me, I'm just going to stay off of it and not even watch it.
And with the Dolphins, you just never know if it's going to be Waddle, if it's going to be Tyreek Hill's kind of been out of it this year. He's not putting up the numbers that he's
just stay away from me, man.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill just stay away. They just seem to not be going to him as much, or maybe it's just double coverage or whatever it is for him. So Waddle probably a good play. But yeah, like I said, they are two. If
anything, I like to bet on 8-chain receiving yards, so that might be something I look at.
Yeah, that's not bad. He does little button hooks and gets that ball.
Yep. So keep that in mind. Seattle Seahawks visiting the Cardinals. Cardinals are minus 2.5. Seattle Seahawks are 7-5. Cardinals are 6-6. Division game. The winner of this game, if the Cardinals win, they go to 7-6, and Seattle goes to 7-6. So this is a very important game here. The current, look at the last 5. Seattle Seahawks have won 3 in a row. Cardinals have lost 2 in a row, but they did lose to the Vikings, and they just played the Seahawks two weeks ago, and it was a very low-scoring game, 16-6. 16-6 win by the Cardinals. Cardinals are at home now. They are favored by -2.5. You know what I like to do sometimes in this type of things where they've just played each other 2 weeks ago, and the score was 16-6. The over/under is 44.5 here. Let me have the team who's the dog, plus 7 points. That'll put me at 9.5. Give me the Seattle Seahawks plus 9.5, and give me the over 37 points teaser for that one. Moving on to your team, the Buffalo Bills, Los Angeles Rams. Buffalo Bills are -3.5 in Los Angeles. Over under 49.5. You know what? Game like this, I know everyone's going to be the over. I got to go over 49 points. I don't care. I think the Buffalo Bills can score enough. Los Angeles Rams have some weapons as well. Buffalo Bills 10-2, Rams 6-6. Line seems like it should be a little bit higher for this one. Buffalo Bills have won the last 5, and more than that. The Los Angeles Rams did beat the Saints, but did lose to the Eagles prior to that. I got to go with the over here, and I got to go with the Buffalo Bills. What's your take?
Yeah, a couple things. The Bills have still not been great against the run. They haven't really been shutting down the run. I mean, at key points they do, but they seem to let running backs sort of run on them. So I think Kyren Williams is looking live for a touchdown at -165, and even maybe, you want to do -165 and 40 yards. I think he hits that easily. Next, I think that I know that you always give Allen shit for taking Cook's shine, but I think in this game you might see him take a back seat a bit as the season starts to wind down. You're probably going to let James Cook run the ball a lot more in this game. And then on top of that, even to look at, pairing them up as far as touchdowns, I'm sort of down for that. I just think Buffalo is going to run all over them. The one thing I was going to say was Buffalo and even the over. You might want to start. They do start slow. So if you look at Buffalo out of the gate in the first quarter, you might get a better line on them live, and or looking at that over, because I do think a lot of scoring is going to happen late in this game.
All right. And we're going to finish off with 2 big games. It's going to have a lot of action on them. I'm going to like it. San Francisco 49ers at home taking on the Chicago Bears. And we had a big injury to, again, McCaffrey. He's like made of glass. Feel bad for the guy. But because he's out, you know who's in, right? We got Mason, I believe is his name, the running back for the 49ers. I'm going to take him on the yards. He did pretty well coming in. It was a snow game, so they kind of used him a little bit and then rested him at the end. Wait, did Mason get hurt? Hold on a minute. I think he might have gotten hurt as well.
That I'm unsure of.
Okay. Because they were just talking today about all right, let me look at the injury report. So of course McCaffrey got hurt in that snow game.
Yeah, it's terrible to go from the season that he had last season, where he was like -300 touchdown prop at the end of the season, to where he is now is tragic.
And then when you look at here's the deal. They lost McCaffrey and they also lost Mason that game. They're out indefinitely.
Wow.
So the 49ers will not play list has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 guys on the will not play. We have Ayuk, Mason, McCaffrey, Gibbons, Hargrave. I just naming a bunch of them. So they're going to be on their third running back, who I think his name is Guerrero or something. That's who I was going to take, just because they have a decent O-line. Even though they're down all these players, guess what? They're still -4 favorites versus the 49ers, and I'm going to take them. They're against the Bears. Sorry about that. The 49ers -4 with their third string running back. I got to take him. I'm going to take the third string running back. Let me tell you who it is right now, because he was in the game versus the Bills.
Yeah, because it's the Bears, man. I mean, you almost want to go on the other side of this, but because it's the Bears, no, you don't. So it's like, where do you find the value? And it might be in that backup running back if they can give you a good line on minimum yardage.
So his name is Isaac Guerendo. Isaac Guerendo, and he's a round 4 rookie from Louisville. And he's their only
Interesting. I'll
guy.
have to ask the guys over at First and Locks about him to see if he's got any value.
There you go. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 49ers -4 and Guerendo rushing yards, whatever it is. Might be 50. I don't care. I'm going to take it. Because the Bears are just bad. The Bears are the Bears.
You'll probably get a good line on 40, I would imagine. I mean, I can't imagine a guy coming in third string is going to have a crazy line on him, even if they expect him to run.
Exactly, which takes us to our top game, Sunday Night Football, guys. You're going to get a treat here. This is normally a game that I leave for the VIP guys. But we know that the Kansas City Chiefs are not covering versus anybody. You got Harbaugh coming into Kansas City. I got to take the Chargers plus the points on the teaser, and I got to take the over as a top play. So if you tease the Chargers, you get them at plus 11. And if you tease the over, you get it at 36. So I love that. I love that right there. Chargers plus 11 over 36, just because primetime games have been having points. I know you're going to have possibly some player props for this one, but I love that. That's probably going to be my Sunday night teaser play of the night. Chiefs are -4. They haven't covered versus anybody. They almost lost to the Raiders. The Chargers, we know the Chargers can play well. They have good coaching now. They did lose their last game. Actually, no, they won their last game 17-13 versus the Falcons, but they did lose the Harbaugh challenge with the Harbaugh brothers 30-23 versus the Ravens. Kansas City Chiefs are 11-1. Their only loss to the Buffalo Bills versus the Raiders 19-17. I know that it could be an under game, but because these primetime games have gone over, I got to go with the over 36. The majority of the primetime games are going over. I like that play, and that's what I'm going to stick with. Do you have any props for that one?
I'm actually going to look at Travis Kelce. I haven't touched him all season, but he's been targeting him quite a bit. And he's just such a presence. He's been there as just sort of a dump-off spot and been handy. So I just think Kelce at plus 145. I'll take that before the line moves.
So he is due. Like I said, guys, I like that teaser right now. Most likely that's going to be my teaser, but I could change it last minute depending on some type of news. So if you want to know what that is, and if you're not in my VIP, send me a DM. You know, sometimes I chop it up with a lot of people. So people that are not in my VIP and send me a message. They say, hey, do you like this game? Do you like that game? I sometimes give them a little nugget. So I don't mind doing that. And then I do direct you to my free Telegram where you can get some free soccer picks and go from there, guys. So that'll do it for the Sunday football action as well.
Okay, so as we close it out, I think just as like for those that are still left, I think we got 5 people left in the chat. Let's build a little parlay, whether it's a grandma parlay or if you want to do an over parlay in soccer, let's do that up for them. For those guys that have been here the whole
Oh yeah, that sounds good, especially everybody who's here. You know, want to give them something, give them a treat. Are you able to screenshot or see who's still in there? Because I can't see who's in there. Are you able to see their names?
If you guys want to just anybody that's listening live right now, if you want to just put your name in the chat or just type here in the chat.
Yeah, if they want to put their if they're watching this and they've stayed and hung out with us, I'm actually going to take it even to another level. I'm gonna gift you the weekend VIP. So if they want to, post on their Instagram handle or hit me up on Instagram and screenshot that you're watching live, however we want to do it.
I'll take a picture of it so you have all the names.
Yep, that's perfect right there. Tell me your Instagram handle, guys. If you're on live right now with me, I know there's not many of you, you will get my VIP weekend for free. And
some people are already in VIP anyway, so we'll try to figure out how to take care of them, whatever way.
Yeah. If they're already in the VIP, we'll figure out something else. But if they're not and they're watching, then we'll put them in the VIP for the weekend. Now let's look at that parlay that we're talking about. We're going to combine a Saturday and Sunday. We're going to go with for Saturday, we're going to parlay Aston Villa and Eintracht Frankfurt. Aston Villa and Eintracht Frankfurt is going to be a soccer parlay. Aston Villa is in the England Premier League. Aston Villa money line and Eintracht Frankfurt from the Bundesliga is going to be our parlay for Saturday's soccer action. It's going to be our grandma parlay for Saturday. And I'm scanning through the numbers here to see if we like anything else there. I think that'll do it for Saturday. Sunday's action, we have Wolfsburg versus Mainz over 2.5. That's going to be the Bundesliga leg for Sunday, combined with Leicester versus Brighton over 2.5. That's going to be the over parlay for Sunday, guys. So there you have it. That's going to be the 2 free parlays for this weekend. For Sunday, it's going to be the over 2.5 parlay, Leicester versus Brighton in the England Premier League, combined with Wolfsburg and Mainz over 2.5 from the Bundesliga. And that'll do it. Hopefully you wrote those down. You will be able to watch this episode again if you missed something.
And guys, as the lives get better and better, I'll make sure on my end that we start to, the graphics will be better. There'll be videos in here. It's the first time started chopping it up. We wanted to keep it, raw and simple. But as we do this, it'll get better and better. And there'll be more advantages to watching live, to jumping on lines early and jumping in on some parlays that Raph builds for you. So.
Yeah, we'll be doing. I'm down to giveaways, to do some giveaways and things like that, jerseys and some possible bonus bets from Wager Attack and things like that. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks again for supporting the team. Thanks again for everything that you guys do. Comment, like on my posts, guys. When I post on Instagram, that helps me quite a bit. So thanks again for all your support. And we'll see you next time on the Pitch with TJ Picks.
You are now tuned into On the Pitch with the GOAT, TJ Raff.